guys, it's Sam, and this is my July wrap-up. This is the obligatory part where I say, where has this year gone? But honestly, like, I just feel like I had a birthday. My birthday is in August, and I just feel like I had a birthday, and it's already coming up again. It's just really weird. I know as you get older, like, time moves more quickly. It's just odd, though. Like, yeah, I don't know how to feel, because in my head, September is officially fall, even though you still get hot days, and so I'm like, it's like basically almost fall. Ugh. 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 I love fall just fine, but I just don't want to have winter again because I don't like that. No. And this year I have a dog, which means I'll have to take it out in the winter and the cold. I don't want to. So as far as books in July, I read 7 books, which is really great. I feel like I read a lot more this month because I read some more contemporary. I'd taken a big break from contemporary for a while there, and I jumped back into it for a little bit, and I read both those contemporary books in like a day each. So it helped. The first book I picked up was The Darkest Magic by Morgan Rhodes. This is the second book in the A Book of Spirits and Thieves trilogy, which is a spin-off series to the Fallen Kingdom series, which I love. I already done a full review on this book, so I'll leave that on the screen. I didn't enjoy this book as much as I hoped that I would. I just don't enjoy this spin-off series as much as Fallen Kingdoms. It provides a really great backstory for Fallen Kingdoms, but by itself, I don't feel like it's very strong. But I, as a Fallen Kingdoms fan, like it for the backstory, which is why I definitely recommend, if you want to read this series, to read it in publication order or read the Fallen Kingdom series first and then start this series. Again, I'm not sure as far as publication order if the third book will have any impact on the later Fallen Kingdoms books or anything, but that's my recommendation because I don't feel like this series has the legs that Fallen Kingdoms has on its own. I gave this 2.5 out of 5 stars. I then picked up The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. I've also done a full review and gush on this one. This is the last book in the original Mistborn trilogy. I adored it. I've talked about it over and over on different social media platforms and on this channel. I love it. It's an amazing series. I have some issues with some of the things about it. I have some issues with like how he was doing characters back then, but Brandon Sanderson has come a long way as an author, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the stuff in the Cosmere. And I'm just really excited about it. But this, as a conclusion, is everything that I wanted in a conclusion and didn't even know that I wanted. And it's just a really good finale, in my opinion. And it wraps up the series like so well. Like all the loose ends are tied up. And it's tragic. And there's a lot of things. And I just am very emotional, obviously, still about it. So I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. I then picked up The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This book I've already done a review on as well, so I'll leave that on the screen. This is an adult science fiction space opera, and it takes place in the galaxy where there is tunneling ships, and they tunnel through space to different places, and it just follows a crew of one of those tunneling ships, and it's like a multi-species, there's aliens and humans and everything on this crew. And I read this because Elizabeth of Books and Pieces kept talking about it, and a lot of people were saying that it was like Mass Effect, which I always say that I love and adore because it's one of my favorite series of all time to play video games. So I definitely really enjoyed this. I loved all the things about the culture and the world and everything. I go into more gushy depth in my review, but if you are into space operas or you're just really into character development, I definitely recommend this one. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I then picked up Finnegan of the Rock by Melinda Marchetta. Again, this is another book that I've already done a review on, so I'll link that on the screen. This is the first book in an upper YA fantasy series. They are all companion novels, so each book will follow a different protagonist. I went into this expecting to really enjoy it, and it just missed the mark for me in a lot of ways. There's a lot of elements of it that I really should enjoy. It has different political things happening, and it has different character traits that I usually really enjoy, but for some reason I was just not grasping onto any of those usual threads that I really love, and I don't know what it is about this. I've had people say that they really enjoyed the last 2 books in the series a lot more than this one, and I think this was setting up a foundation for the events of the rest of the series. Like the things that happen towards the end of this book, I think will greatly affect the momentum of things in the later books, so I'm looking forward to that. This is kind of a foundational book. You guys know how I feel about foundational books. It had kind of weird pacing. It wasn't a bad book, but it was so hyped for me, and I really hadn't heard anything bad about it that I think I went in with such high expectations and I got a little bit let down. I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. For those of you that don't know, Kayla of Bookadoodles and I are doing a read-along for The Magician's Trilogy by Lev Grossman. This month's book was The Magician King, which is the second book in the series, so I wanted to read that one, but I wanted to have like a clean palette, and just having read a fantasy that I didn't really enjoy, I needed to have like a palette cleanse before I jumped into that book. So I decided to take a much needed contemporary break and read Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. This book is very popular on BookTube, so I'm sure you all know about it, but it's about a girl named Kath who's going away to school, and she is very big into fandom and fan fiction, and she kind of has social anxiety, and she's just kind of trying to find her way with her like new life and kind of being an adult and kind of very much coming of age story. And I have had a very mixed past with Rainbow Rowell. I do not like Eleanor and Park, but I really liked Landline, and I've heard now, since everyone has read this book now, mixed reviews about this one. I had a lot of friends that were like, you're gonna hate it, and a lot of people say that you're really gonna love it. I ended up really enjoying this. I'm not gonna be doing a full review on this because I feel like everybody has done a review on this book, but I really enjoyed it. I think that Rainbow Rowell's style really fell in line with this book and what it was about. I really liked the characters. I felt like she really grasped what it is to go away to college, and especially if you're somebody who has like social anxiety or is really into fandom or both, like this really spoke to me on a lot of levels. Like everyone talks about this scene where she doesn't want to go to the cafeteria because the cafeteria is like such a scary place because people are looking at you and watch you mess up. Like I feel that on just like a deep spiritual level. So there's a lot of things about this that I really enjoyed. Just like the whole like fan fiction element to it and the fandom thing and just like the relationships. Like it was a very cute book. I don't think it's the best contemporary ever made, but I'm actually really excited to read Carry On. I wasn't going to read Carry On. I've heard like mixed things about it and I wasn't even interested in it at all, and then I read this book and I didn't love the fan fiction as much as some people did in it, but I really enjoyed it and now I want to read that and kind of see how it is. Like I think this was really cute. And I'm still really blown away by how much I deeply enjoyed this. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Since I read Fangirl in one day, I decided to kind of continue with my contemporary sprint, and I read Ricochet by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the second book in the Addicted to You series, which is a very giant new adult contemporary series. This is technically a novella. It's book 1.5 in the series, and it just fills in the gaps between books 1 and 2. It is still following the main couple that we have in the first 3 books, so each little part of this series follows different couples, and all of the girls are from the same family. They're all sisters. So it's still following that first couple, which I don't particularly love that first couple. I'm neutral on them. Lily and Lo, I'm just neutral. And I liked this book, but again, it didn't really feel like it was adding anything. I'm glad I got through it. Because at this point, I'm reading these first 3 books so I can get to the next books in the series, because I really want to learn more about the sisters and their relationships, because I like all those characters immensely more. So I'm just trying to get through the Lily and Lo stuff. I still think this new adult series is really fun. It just, this book kind of felt like it was just dragging things out with them. So I'm sure it's really good for Lily and Lo fans, but I just kind of neutral on it, and I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars. I still read it in a day though, so it is very easy to read. And the last book that I completed this month was Bone Gap by Laura Ruby. This is a YA magical realism contemporary story. It's about a small town where weird things happen a lot, and there is a girl who has been abducted from the town, and one brother saw it happen and the other brother was in love with this girl, and just kind of all the things surrounding that and the weirdness surrounding it, and just also their lives. And it's written in this like magical realism way where you're like, what's real and what's fake and that kind of thing. I have mixed feelings about this. This book has Hades and Persephone elements in it, sort of, and it's more of the Boreas and Orinthia myth than it is Hades and Persephone. I will link my Hades and Persephone video where I talk about the things that I like about Hades and Persephone, because this book really didn't have a lot of that. It had a lot of things that I don't like about what people do with the Hades and Persephone myth. It definitely had Hades as like a villain, evil kind of character, which I just don't like, and I've seen it so much. And I just had really high hopes for this, and I didn't really live up to it. But I think if I wouldn't have gone in with like these Hades and Persephone expectations, I might have liked it a little bit more, but I also probably wouldn't have read it if I hadn't like known that it had those elements in it. So I'm glad that I read it, because it is one of the books that I know about that has those kind of elements to it. But overall, I just found it kind of not hard to follow at times, but I didn't like the particular style of magical realism. I'm going to do a review on this book, so I'll talk about that more, but magical realism is a genre where you can't just say that you love all magical realism because it's written so differently. Like, it's just a weird style of writing regardless, so not every magical realism story is going to be one that you really connect to, but I was hoping to like it a lot more than I did, and the characters I just didn't connect to at all, and there's just a lot of things that I find it really forgettable. Like, I only read it a couple days ago and I'm already forgetting a lot of stuff about it. So I gave this one 2 out of 5 stars. And I'm currently in the middle of the previously mentioned The Magician King by Lev Grossman. Really enjoying that, but I'll talk about that more. I didn't finish it before the end of the month. Oops. So those are all the books that I read in July. Comment down below, let me know if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye!